announcing the arrival of our guest of honor to inaugural lecture by Yang Berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Saripan. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem Negaraku and Putra Gemilang. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now be seated. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Yang berbahagia, Tan Sri Dr. Gauth Jasmond, Chairman, Board of Director UPM, Yang berbahagia Profesor Datin Paduka Datuk Dr. Aini Idris, Vice Chancellor of UPM. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Nur Kamariah Nordin, Dean of Engineering Faculty. Our honoured speaker yang berbahagia Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Saripan, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and International, who will be presenting his inaugural lecture. Members of University Management, Tan Sri, Puan Sri, Dato, Datin, distinguished guests, family members of our speaker, ladies and gentlemen. To begin with, I would like to invite Ustaz Muhammad Hafiz Ghazali from Islamic Center UPM to recite the doa. Please welcome.
الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي للجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم أحينا بالإيمان وأمسنا بالإيمان واحشرنا بالإيمان وأدخلنا الجنة مع الإيمان برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم يا رحمن يا رحيم, bahawa segala sanjungan dan pujian hanyalah untuk-Mu. Kami menjunjung dan memuji-Mu, dan kami mohon kepadamu pertolongan dan keampunan. Hanya kepadamu kami mohon perlindungan daripada kejahatan dan kesilapan kami. Allahumma ya mujibud da'awas wa ya qadiyal hajat. Kami bersyukur kepadamu kerana sifat Rahman dan Rahimu dapat kami berkumpul pada hari ini untuk majlis yang berkat ini, sempena syarahan inaugural oleh yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. M. Iqbal Saripan, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademik dan Antarabangsa. Bantulah kami dalam usaha kami semua untuk menjadi institusi peneraju dalam penyelidikan dan pembelajaran serta sebagai sebuah universiti tersohor. Tolonglah kami meningkatkan usaha kami untuk mencari ilmu dan penemuan-penemuan baru sebagai suatu inisiatif yang akan membawa manfaat dan faedah kepada agama, negara dan juga rakyat. Allahumma ya qadiyal hajat. Kami akur bahawa segala ilmu-Mu adalah amanah yang mesti dijana selari dengan petunjuk-Nya untuk manfaat manusia. Anggaplah pencarian ilmu dan usaha kami mengintegrasikan sumber-sumber ilmu wahyu dengan sains sosial, kemanusiaan, sastra sains dan teknologi sebagai satu ibadah demi pembangunan dan penghayatan tradisi intelektual kami dan kemajuan Islam dan juga negara. Allahumma ya mujibu da'awas wa ya qadiyal hajat. Anugerahkanlah bantuan-Mu agar dapat kami memperoleh semula keagungan dan kegemilangan intelektual serta ketamadunan Islam yang dirahmati. Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you for the doa recitation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's use this opportunity to thank the mighty Allah for His blessing that we are able to be here today. It is hoped that throughout this event, we will able to get know one another in much better way, gaining more experiences, and last but not least, to develop a strong networking relationship among us. Without further ado, we would like to invite our distinguished guest of honor yang berbahagia, Profesor Datin Paduka Datuk Dr. Aini Idris, Vice Chancellor of University Putra Malaysia, to chair the event. Please give a warm round of applause.
Terima kasih saudara pengacara majlis. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Gauss Jasmond, Pengurusi Lembaga Pengarah Universiti Putra Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Nur Kamariah Nordin, Dekan Fakulti Kejuruteraan. Yang berbahagia Profesor Teknologis. Terlupa apa dia TS tu. Teknologis Dr. M. Iqbal Saripan, VVIP kita pada hari ini sebetulnya, dan juga keluarga Profesor Iqbal. Ayahandanya ada bersama sini, bapa-bapa saudara, saya fahamkan ada juga bersama isteri dan 2 orang anak. Nampak ke belakang tu? Maybe duduk ke depan tak? Tak nampak kecil ya. Selamat datang ke UPM. Semua tetamu-tetamu jemputan, rakan industri jauh dan dekat, para staf UPM dan juga pelajar-pelajar UPM, hadirin hadirat yang saya hormati sekalian. Alhamdulillah, syukur kehadrat Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala kerana dengan limpah kurnianya kita masih lagi diberi peluang untuk bersama-sama bagi meneruskan usaha mempertabatkan kesarjanaan ilmu pada pagi Jumaat yang barakah ini. Saya teruskan dengan bahasa Inggeris. Profesor Muhammad Iqbal Saripan is a professor in digital image processing at the Department of Computer and Communication Systems Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, Universiti Putra Malaysia. He started his early education at Sekolah Kebangsaan Parit Tongkat and High School Muar before continuing his studies at MRSM Taiping, Perak. He then furthered his tertiary education at University Technology Malaysia in Bachelor Engineering, Electrical Electronics Engineering. He continued his PhD journey at the University of Surrey, United Kingdom, in the area of digital image processing, nuclear medical image acquisition. Professor Iqbal secured substantial amount of research grants from various local and international agencies and institutions. He received over Ringgit Malaysia 5 million worth of research funding from King Saud University in Saudi Arabia, University of Surrey in UK, Erasmus program from China, Ministry of Science and Technology or MOSTI, Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, and also from UPM. He has published more than 100 international journal papers, including those in flagship journals in his area. There is the IEE Transactions on Nuclear Science, IEE Transactions on Biomedical Engineering, Nuclear Instruments and Methods, and Radiation Physics and Chemistry. His work, particularly in increasing the sensitivity of the gamma camera for the early breast cancer detection, has captured public's attention and received media spotlight as they have been publicized by TV3, TV1, RTM1, and mainstream newspapers in Malaysia. In addition to 6 patents and 4 copyrights related to his research work, he invented a product, the wire mesh collimator gamma camera. This has attracted a number of international collaborators. He is undeniably a very active academic and researcher. His passion does not restrict to technical area only, as he has also a deep interest in engineering education. He has published a number of articles in the aspects of outcome-based education, alternatives assessment, and ethics education. His expertise is currently acknowledged by both public and private sectors. He has been involved in consultancy projects worth more than RM10 million in both the government and private sectors. He is also an assessor for the Malaysian Qualification Agency, MQA, as well as the Engineering Accreditation Council, EAC. Prof. Iqbal is not only excellent in academic, but also is a committed faculty member and a leader. At a very young age, he was given the trust to lead the Department of Computer and Communication Systems Engineering as the head of the department. He was then appointed as the Deputy Dean, Postgraduate Studies at the Faculty of Engineering before being appointed as the Director of the Centre for Quality Assurance, CQA UPM. His leadership is of course truly recognized when he was appointed by the Minister of Education Malaysia as the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic and International UPM on 15 February 2017. And for your information, he is the youngest Deputy Vice-Chancellor in any university in Malaysia. At the international level, he was appointed as an evaluator by University Grants Commission of Bangladesh. In terms of his involvement in professional bodies, he is currently the Vice Chair of International Radiation Physics Society. In the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer, IEEE Malaysia, he was the Chair for IEEE Gold Chapter in 2010-2011, Vice Chair for IEEE Consumer Electronics from 2009 to 2012, and Vice Chair for IEEE Signal Processing from 2014 until 2016. He is also a Chartered Engineer with the Engineering Council UK since 2015 and an Evaluation Panel member of Chartered Engineers in UK. In 2018, he received a Professional Technology status from the Malaysia Board of Technologies, the TS just now. And Prof. Iqbal is the recipient of several awards, including Top Research Scientist Malaysia 2013 National Young Scientist Award and the 2012 the Young Outstanding Malaysian Award. In 2015, he was listed amongst the top 10 creative young Malaysians by the Top 10 magazine. Tepuklah sikit. Very quiet. We are celebrating his success today. I think we are very proud. UPM is very proud of him. Apart from that, he has received many other rewards and recognition at both local and international levels. And apart from being a reviewer for many impact factor journals, he is also a promotion evaluator and research grant assessor for King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology, Saudi Arabia, and was appointed as a visiting professor at King Saud University and Dammam University, both in Saudi Arabia, visiting lecturer at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, USA, and University of Surrey, UK. He has delivered a number of keynote and plenary speeches at many international and national conferences. It is, of course, no doubt that Professor Technologist Dr. M. Iqbal Saripan has achieved excellence in teaching, research, and professional involvement, particularly in digital image processing, as well as in leadership, as written in his inaugural book. So you get those information in the inaugural book. So without further ado, let us now listen to Professor Iqbal on his inaugural lecture entitled Imaging and Imagining You. So let us imagine from now. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to welcome Prof. Iqbal.
Terima kasih, Radin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And good morning, everybody. Yang Bahagia Datin Paduka Naib Chancellor Tan Sri Gaus, our chairman for UPM Board of Directors, management members at the university level as well as faculty level, my beloved family members, ayah, wife and 2 kids. Actually, I have 3 kids, but the youngest is only 2 years old, and I'm just afraid that she'll be the one who'll be taking the stage if I bring her here. And my 2 uncles, thank you for coming. And friends and families, special mention to Marismat, thank you very much. And hence the reason why I put these slides as my first slides. Because I think this event is all about giving out appreciation, not only to me, but actually what is more important is to all of you who have been supporting throughout my career as a professor. And thank you very much as well to all colleagues coming from many universities as well as many institutions. I think Dr. Ramli from UTHM just now, he did not mention that he wanted to come and suddenly he make an appearance, but I think he changed seat somehow. Thank you very much all. And I'm trying my best to finish this, now it's 10:23. I'll promise you that we'll go to Solat Jumaat, don't worry. So inshallah it will be somewhere around 45 minutes, inshallah. I'd like to start my title page by showing the cover page of my book, because it is quite significant here. Number one is about the title. Many people ask me about the title, and some people said that they are here today because of the title, actually not because of me. So thank you very much. During the process of writing up the book, as usual, we'll be focusing a lot on the content of the book. Similar like to our UPM publisher, they also look into the proofreading, everything inside the book. But then, during one event, I sat at the restaurant with my elders. Well, he seemed not to be very interested of my book. I brought a dummy that time for me to do the correction. So instead of looking inside, he was actually looking outside. And then he said to me, Papa, there's something wrong with the description here. So thank you for him for correcting it. And it is always good if people know what we are doing. As a researcher, in our cycle, in our circle, if we know what other people are doing, then maybe that will be the point of contact for us to do collaboration. And therefore, I did some testing, whether people close to me, they know what I'm doing or not. So, whatever presentation that we are going to have today, all my slides is all about what have I done since the beginning of my research journey. That is close to, I did my PhD in 2002 until 2006. And then this is pretty much the work been done from 2006 to 2019. So my first child was born in 2007. So more or less 12 years worth of experience since he was born. So 12 years. Then I did some testing. Can we run the first video, please? Hi, Fahim.
Yes.
You know I'm a professor, right?
Yes.
But do you know I'm a professor in what area?
No.
Why no?
Because I don't know.
Okay, so maybe he doesn't know. So let's try my second one. Okay? Okay, Muiz. What do you think I have been doing at my workplace?
Yeah, I had lots of meetings.
And apart from meeting?
I can't think. Can't think of it.
Okay, thank you, Muiz. So the definition of being a professor is that you must have lots of meetings. I did not give up, so I tried to ask my youngest, 2 years old. So let's see. Rauda, can I ask you one question? Rauda? Rauda? Do you know what I'm doing? Rauda? You know? and she doesn't seem to be interested at all. So, well, I hope that by the end of the lecture today, Fahim, Muiz, you know a little bit what Papa is doing. And especially for the rest of you, hopefully we can find any point of contact for us to do research together and collaboration together. Very much welcome for that. But some people, they accuse that I'm doing a part-time job. And I said that, well, as a university officer, if we want to do a part-time job, then we must get approval from the university, right? And of course, as well, administratively, as the Deputy Vice Chancellor, I cannot do part-time job. But they keep asking me. And even when I went to one faculty, they sent me this. And well, I do not want to name the faculty, yeah? Thank you, Prof. Ramita. So, but I must admit that I cannot sing. So those come here to hear I sing a song, that won't happen. I'm sorry. So, let's go to the main topic now. My area is image processing. And, well, I'm not that old, but I still can remember this. I think maybe the younger generation, students, I do not know whether you have tested this before, but I think at our house that time, our first camera was Olympus, right? Yeah. I think we had one Olympus, very old one, with many settings and etc. And then we need to use a Kodak. Well, we call that as Kodak. It is similar to like having Nescafe for coffee or hot chocolate for Milo, right? So we have Kodak. So that was during then. This film-based camera was a trend that time, and for us to use this camera, we can only use one Kodak at one time in the camera. And normally, the number of exposure will be somewhere around 36. Some manufacturers, they'll put a little bit extra. Maybe you will get 38 or 40. And if you want to have lesser, then they would sell for 24 exposures. And each of those called Kodak would have their own sensitivity. And if we want to use that indoor, we would need different sensitivity than the ones outdoor. So, those who got married maybe 20, 30 years ago, I think you can still remember your photographer would bring 2 or 3 cameras around their neck. Because one, they'll put Kodak for indoor, and the other one, they'll put Kodak for outdoor exposure. So if you go indoor, then they'll take the first camera. If you go outdoor, they'll take the second camera. So that's minimum. Usually they'll bring 3, because they have very high sensitivity, very highly sensitive Kodak, low sensitive Kodak, and the ones in between. So usually a professional photographer will bring 3 cameras around their neck. And the first digital camera was actually invented in 1975. And the irony is that it was invented by Kodak, by a researcher called Steven Sesson. But the camera itself is quite big. It's around 4 kilogram. I just want to know whether you pay attention to me or not. And the resolution is around 0.01 megapixel. Which, if I put that as a comparison here, yes, 0.01 megapixel is somewhere around 100 by 100 pixels. In terms of the physical image size, and this is actually as compared to VGA size, not even the current 10 megapixels that we have now. This is just again the normal VGA size, and we're talking about having 6 times lesser in terms of the size as compared to VGA size. In digital image processing, VGA size is considered as the first standard image that is worth to be processed. Lesser than that, even if we do some processing, the information will not be so useful anymore. And it was actually been recorded in a cassette. Again, maybe the younger generation never seen this before. Yeah? But it was been recorded in a cassette. But that was in 1975. Any of you can remember your first encounter with a digital camera? Was it in 1975 or 1980? I don't think so. Because it was kept as research prototype until somewhere around year 1995. The big question now is that where is Kodak nowadays as a company? If I mention about digital camera, people will be citing Canon, Nikon, well, perhaps Sony, Olympus, but Kodak now is no near of capturing the market of digital images. Why? Because during that time, Kodak, they hold a lot of patents in the analog camera, and they actually almost the same story as Nokia versus Apple, yeah, whereby it's all about believing in the innovation. So Kodak came into digital imaging market quite late as compared to other manufacturers, and eventually they fell behind. And again, as I said, that the big question is where is Kodak now? Even when you talk about sensors and everything, they were no near to the big 4 companies in digital imaging. And this is my first encounter in digital imaging. My first digital camera was a PC Cam 600 by Creative, and I bought this in 2001. It cost me around 800 ringgit that time. In 2001, I just finished my degree, and in December 2001, I started as a tutor here in engineering. I remember one of my visit to Imbi Plaza, and then I bought this camera. This camera has only 16 megabyte memory, compared to 16 gig we have now. 16 megabyte memory, and the size, this is what we call as VGA size. As I said that the first usable standard sizes for imaging is VGA size, so it's around 640 by 480. And even if I use that size, I can only take 200 pictures. And if I use 1.3 megapixel with 1280 by 960, I can only take 20 pictures. And there is no slots to put in extra memory. So once I captured or the memory is full, then I need to download that to a computer, clear that up, and then only I can reuse the camera. That was during then. And this was my first encounter with digital imaging. Just to share with you, actually when I applied to be a tutor here in engineering, I applied to be a tutor at Department of Electronics Engineering. But they rejected me because I think they got full quorum already as tutors. And I remember that time actually Prof Jinab, I saw Prof Jinab just now. Prof Jinab, thank you Prof. auntie. She was the one who actually introduced me to arwah Datuk Radin. And then at the old office at the tower block. And then arwah Datuk Radin called Prof. Norka Maria, and she said that she was at Pasar Malam that time. Yeah? And that was not even 5 o'clock. Huh? No, I'm just kidding. So, and then Prof. Nakamara accepted me to, she was the head of department that time, and she accepted me to the department. And because I'm not in the electrical electronics department, therefore I cannot do research or PhD in the area that my top priority area, which is microelectronics. Actually, I really like microelectronics, VLSI, and etc. But those areas are not in the scope of Department of Computer and Communication, and therefore, after discussing with the department, I decided to go to digital image processing. So that was my first encounter. And well, even having said that, the passion and interest in photography and image processing was actually since I was small. Because, well, my father did not know this, but when he was not around, because when I was small, my father was working somewhere quite far from Muar. He was working in Pengerang, and he did not know that I have been using his camera behind his back. So I had that passion to imaging and photography since I was kids, and therefore even when I was being assigned to the Department of Computer and Communication Systems, for me to do digital imaging is something that, well, maybe not my top most priority, but I think it is still within my interest. And as compared to current situation in 2001, where are we now? So if I use this camera, this is the high-end camera from Canon, EOS 80D. We are now looking at 26 megapixel as compared to 0.01 megapixel for digital camera, or 1.3 megapixel my first digital camera. So, and then the memory, we can expand that. Now we are not only talking about gigabyte, but we are talking about terabytes. And we can share the pictures immediately. There's a Wi-Fi connection. Previously, we need to plug in USB cable, download that to the laptop. But now, no longer. We can just connect that wirelessly. And the range of ISO, the sensitivity, we can simply pick by selecting few options in the camera. So we do not need now to change the whole codec if we want to use different sets of sensitivity. And that is if we talk about dedicated SLR camera, dedicated camera. Even if you compare that with mobile camera, nowadays I think everybody is carrying a camera in your pockets. The latest Samsung Note 10 can go up to 16 megapixel. It has 3 lenses, which is good for focal and low light condition. And it can also be used as a 3D scanner. I bought a 3D scanner for the lab in 2007 or 2008, and it cost me somewhere around 30,000 ringgit for that 3D scanner. But now with only 4,000 ringgit, Samsung Note 10, we can use that as our 3D scanner. So that is how advanced digital image processing has become since the past few years. As a summary, well, not summary of my lecture, not yet, but as a summary, if we want to compare between the digital and analog, number one, we talk about in terms of the sensitivity, the analog camera is fixed. So if you want to change, you need to change the codec. But digital camera is very flexible. If you go indoor, you just change that. And what more is that our digital camera now becomes very intelligent. And with that, you go inside, it will automatically change the ISO for you. You go outside, it will automatically change the ISO for you. And digital camera also, we can have thousands of images, no problem at all. And we can expand the memory. But for analog camera, one codec only give you 36 exposure. Once you finish, if you are in the middle of the jungle, and so that's it, there will be no memory to be captured. What is actually the most important, which is going to lead to my next research and slides, is the advantage that we can exploit is that in digital images, it can be altered, it can be modified very easily, as compared to analog images, whereby what you get from the snapping process, if you take picture, you get that. If it's overexposure or if it's underexposure, that's all what you get. And if you want to process it, there's no way of actually doing it. Unless nowadays, if you scan it and then you convert that to digital images. But again, those are digital images. And those are not analog images. And where are we leading to? So now we're talking about the wearable base, SLR. In terms of the connection, in terms of the memory, if it's a cloud base, so can we now having camera with unlimited memory? Because say for example, if the camera is intelligent enough, if the storage is full, then it will automatically go to cloud. Yeah. Or in terms of the image retrieval, I'm not sure about you, but if you have thousands of pictures in our camera, and then suddenly we remember, 5 years ago, I've taken a picture somewhere in Bali. So you need to scroll again. What if the camera and pictures are intelligent enough for them to guide us that, okay, we just search Bali and automatically they'll do some picture or pattern recognition or image recognition to try to identify the closest match to Bali, maybe in terms of the background and etc. That will really help, right? So, and as well as in terms of the price and being a 3D scanner. So, if you want to relate back, the performance that we are actually expecting, number one, in terms of the price, you want it to be cheap. And I think now it's cheap enough as I compared my 3D camera 10 years ago, 30,000 ringgit. Now, if I just buy Samsung Note 10, 4,000 ringgit. Yeah? We're talking about physical size, becomes smaller, smaller, smaller. It becomes mobile. It can handle low lights with 3 lenses. Battery, yeah? Battery, memory, as well as I did mention about the intelligence. Yeah? So if we want to relate the sustainable design in digital image processing, actually this slide, I took that from one of my keynote speech in one of the international sustainable conference on sustainable design. Because having images in the digital forms is also one of the sustainable design that we can have in our sustainable technology. And that will be in terms of, we can have many settings, depends on you. We can easily enhance the images, no problem at all. We can reuse the camera for so many times, as well as reusing the digital image. Now you want to give to your friend, previously if you want to give to your friend a picture, printed picture, you need to print it again, but now you can just send it through WhatsApp. You can share that, WhatsApp, and it does not involve any chemical processing. So, digital image 101, I've been talking about digital image, digital image, digital image. What digital image is all about? Digital image is about assigning numbers to specific area called picture element, or in short pixel, and the numbers can be represented as colors. That's all. For example, 00 here in binary, because computer works in binary. I think my friend here, Dr. Fakrul, he knows better than me. Computer works in binary. Therefore, for example, 0, 0, if we convert that to decimal, it becomes 0, and 0 here means no voltage being applied. Therefore, as a result, you'll get black. And then, if I have a maximum number, 1, 1, which is in decimal number is 3, we give the highest voltage, then we get white. So if I just use this range, of course we can have a bigger range than this, but if I just use this range as an example, if I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, then my 0 would be black, my 0 would be white, and my 3, oh actually this has to be the other way around, I'm sorry. Yeah? My 0 has to be black, and my 3 has to be white. It should be the other way around. And in this case, we are talking about having 2 bits, 2 numbers in binary. Therefore, in this case, we are talking about 2 bits image. Because we are using 2 digits in binary numbers. If you're using 3 digits in binary numbers, it becomes 3 bits. So, translating this, the right color of course, into this type of images, if you have 0, 0, then you'll get black. If you have 1, 0, you'll get somewhere middle gray, like middle light gray. If you have 0, 1, you have darker gray, and if you have 1, 1, you have white. Yeah. So this is what digital image is all about: assigning numbers to a specific area, and the area would depend on the resolution of the sensor. The smaller the area is, the higher overall resolution you will get. And this example is in terms of the grayscale colors. We can also extend this to full colors. The concept is still the same. So there are many applications of digital images. Number 1, we're talking about personal or general, and Fahim, Muiz, and Rauda. And number 2, we're talking about industrial or machine vision. This is where we have done some works to look at the condition of the. For example, one of our works is looking into condition of the pipe, and that was in collaboration with Petronas. And then we can also use it for satellite or aerial images. And my works in satellite and aerial images is with Prof. Rashid. I think he was here, Prof. Rashid from KBP, as well as Dr. Helmi, yeah, from civil engineering. But most of my works actually in medical imaging. When I wanted to start my PhD, I emailed potential supervisors as usual, and then the supervisor, it was Professor Maria Petru from Sari University. He gave me a few options to pick, and out of that many, there were 2 that were very interesting. One is on medical imaging, and second is on satellite imaging. I used to be, or my ambition used to be medical doctor. I wanted to be a medical doctor. Used to. So when I received an offer from MRSM Typing, because I know Typing, they got two types of classes. One is sciences with biology, physics, chemistry, and biology, and the other one is with accountancy. And then I called Typing and asked Typing whether I got biology class or accounting class, because I want to be a medical doctor. And then I said that only if I got biology, then I will accept this offer. And then Emerson Typing said that, okay, my name is in biology class, and that's the reason why I go to Typing. But after learning biology for 2 years, I thought that maybe I'm better off in physics and do engineering. Yeah. So that's why, overall title, Imaging and Imagining. I hope that now the expectation of imaging, you know already about imaging. And that's why my interest lies more on medical imaging. I guess because I used to have a passion to be a medical doctor, but maybe not up for it. But at the end of the day, I got to be able to interact with many medical doctors and specialists and radiologists. And thank you very much all for coming here. Datin Rosie was the first collaborator from medical faculty here, accepted me to collaborate with her. I mean, she was the first for me when I came back from my PhD. So we did some projects together, and now it's already been what, 13 years, Datin? We still work together. Thank you very much, Datin. Yeah. So as you can see, actually doing medical imaging, we require lots of inputs from different areas. We're talking about knowing people from computer science. This is where my collaborators from computer science, medicine faculties and hospitals. Dr. Lenny also here from HUKM, thank you. And engineering, of course, and physics. And my main collaborator in physics in Malaysia is Dr. Suhairul from UTM. Thank you very much for coming. And as well as a few others like Prof. David Bradley. Now he's with Sunway. But at the end of the day, if we come up with something, there must be some study on the impact to the society. And hence, I think there's a huge scope of social sciences around whatever that we are doing in engineering or medicine. And that's the reason why I keep promoting in UPM that we should be working together. Not only between technical and sciences faculties, but also with social sciences faculties. So my work mostly in the higher energy part, which is mostly here. We're talking about higher energy in electromagnetic spectrum, X-rays. Higher than that will be gamma rays. So why gamma rays? Because gamma rays have the ability to penetrate through human bodies, and hence the imaging part. You do not, or you cannot see what's inside us, inside our body, but we can just imagine with the help of high energy photons. And when it comes to very high energy like this, we must have a specific material to be used, as well as a very high dense detector, so that we can stop the propagation of the photons. Otherwise, if the photons keep propagating, then there will be no way for us to capture the information inside human's body. And there are three types of medical image modalities. Number one, you talk about functional. Functional here means if we want to imagine the activities in our body, then we can use this type of medical image modality. And amongst them are positron emission tomography, PET, gamma camera, as well as single photon emission tomography, SPEC. And my work is mostly in these particular three machines. And then the second one, we're talking about structural type of imaging. Usually, I think all of us heard about CT and MRI. And we are now coming into the third phase of digital imaging machines. Is that the machine itself able to fuse two types of images between function and structure and come out with a hybrid version of it. Yeah? A hybrid version of digital images. And in this example, we have PET CT machine at our Pusat Pengimajan Nuclear, Diagnostic Nuclear UPM. And now we also going to have PET MR machine, but not in UPM. And PET MR machine will have more efficiency than PET CT machine. So PET comes from the functional type, MRI comes from the structural type. Every types of medical images have their own advantages as well as disadvantages. If you look at the functional type, it will be very difficult to see the boundary. But we can see areas, more or less, that have high activities. As compared to this type of structure, image, that you can see the boundary very well defined. And by comparing between these two and fuse both of them, you'll be able to get an image with a very good boundary plus showing activities within the defined boundary. And that will become our region of interest. So my first work was with gamma camera. This is gamma camera at the Royal Surrey County Hospital, Surrey. And in our lab, we have built our mobile gamma camera. So the idea was, actually, in the real situation, the patient will be lying down here, and well, before that, it would need to be administered with radionuclides. And in this case, we are using technetium 99 carrying 140 keV, kilo electron volts. And photons from human's body will be projected and will be stopped and detected at the detector. This is what we call as a dual head gamma camera. It has two heads. In our gamma camera that we built in the lab, gamma rays, photons from patients, it will go through. The first part here is what we call as a collimator. So this is where most of my publications are, in the collimator aspect. The idea of having a collimator is so that we can reject wide angle photons, we can reject the noise, and we can accept only photons that come within a narrow stereo angle. And that information is very important because we want to triangulate that with the locations of the activities in human bodies. So in the normal camera, this is what we call as lenses. But in normal camera, we can use optical lenses because we are dealing with optical lights. But in gamma camera, because we are dealing with high energy photons, therefore we need special lens for our camera, and that's what we call as collimator. Well, this work mostly done by Sham, my PhD student. And then we have a detector, and then we have a photomultiplier. In this case, we are not using tubes, but silicon base. So, talking about collimator, this is the schematic design of the collimator. We have come up with different or many configurations of collimator. So, if this is the detector, this is the specific designs that we have configured based on the medical conditions. And then the original idea of having this collimator as sets of wires is because the collimator itself, the current collimator, is very huge as well as bulky and heavy. It weighs around 80 to 100 kilogram. So with this technology, we can reduce the weight to only around 40 kilogram. Yeah? And they are all made from tungsten. So some of the results, and as usual, our results are always all good. Yeah? And we have published these results in a few journals. And as I said, that the configurations are or can be configured based on different situations. And one of the situations that we have tested in the area of CT mammography, breast cancer, it has shown that the improvement in terms of the quality of the image is quite significant as compared to the original wire mesh collimator that we have designed. Yeah. And the next one that I'll be sharing is on the algorithm side. So we have, well, this is the original, or this is the normal setting of any image capturing process. We have an object which will be captured by a camera, and then the camera will produce digital images. Most of the research now is focusing on improving these digital images. Meaning you capture a picture, you snap the picture, you get the picture, you download that, and then you try to improve it. So the improvement actually been done here. But, well, we always say garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't get good images to be fed into the camera, then the output from the camera, regardless how intelligent the algorithm is, there will always be some limitations. Therefore, in our case, we have embarked on several projects on the pre-processing side. Meaning that, while in the capturing process, when the photons been detected at the detector, this is the part before the image formation been done by the processor. We will try first to improve the quality of the image in terms of the pre-processing side of it. And we have done that first. This machine is at our university, Pusat Pengujian Diagnostik Nuklear. This is a PET-CT machine, and we are using F18 FDG. And here we are detecting photons at 511 kilo electron volts. What we did was, this is actually the work by Dr. Salasia from UKM, my former PhD student. What we have done was, we look in terms of the sinograms. Before the image in PET-CT machine was formed, it was first be in this particular form, what we call a sinogram, the record of the number of events. So the brighter part here shows that we have lots of events, lots of photons being detected. But this one doesn't carry any information yet, but this one can be translated into digital images after certain processing been done. Yeah, and that's why I say that this is more of a pre-processing, meaning that we are dealing with the raw information of the image, not yet the process information for us to form digital images. And what we have done is that we have come up with the adaptive approach to it. And this is a type of filter that the first part of the filter we are using the mean filter, the second part of the filter we are using what we call as the mean and median filter. But these filters are adaptive. It depends on the angle of photons that are being recorded. Okay. So this is for the first region, and this is for the second region. The number of, or the size of the mass, as well as the direction of the mass, will depend on the direction of the photons being recorded. The bright spots just now. So meaning that the size of the mass as well as the direction of the mass, they can be changed if we have different sets of sinograms. And as a result, based on our adaptive filters, this is the original image. Yeah, the sinogram was the raw data. And then from the raw data, we convert that to become images. So these are the images. This is the scale-up version of this area. So this is the original image if we don't do pre-processing, but after pre-processing we get this. So meaning that the image still maintain the boundary, but in terms of the uniformity, it gets better. And then we have tested that to PET image. And as we can see that our proposed filter here give a better image quality as compared to the rest of the techniques available currently. And next, if we go into the post-processing side of it, I mentioned that if we do something inside this camera itself, we call that as pre-processing. But my work, we also have going into the post-processing side of it. We improve the quality inside the camera, and then once we get the digital images, we try to further improve it. And one of the projects that we have done, this is with Dr. Zainina Seman from Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, is on the leukemia detection, L2 type. And therefore, one of the main information that is very important is to segment the nucleus of the cells. So we have come up with this framework in terms of separating the white blood cells, and then looking into the age detection, and then finding the nuclei, and then hole filling, and then looking into the nucleus, and then eventually we'll be able to segment the nucleus as well as the cytoplasm. And the results are quite convincing. Actually, this is one of the papers that received a very high citation, because somehow this result override the results from actually quite well-known author before that, and this was actually published, I think, in 2008 or 2009, and people still keep citing the paper until today. So this is the original white blood cell image, and then we change that to grayscale, and then we do the age detection, and then we find the area using SNC, and then we do the nucleus extraction, and then the hole filling. So eventually we'll be able to get that. Another work on segmentation. So image processing now it becomes only like a tool. So I can segment nucleus if I have that framework. And then I can also use segmentation to segment other types of image modality. And in this case, this is actually segmentation of PET-CT image. This is CT image, this is PET image. And a combination of two, fusion of those two, I'll get this PET-CT image. And what we have done is that we are using a technique called seeded region growing. The concept is very, very easy. If we want to define a boundary within a region of interest, we just put a seed. And then the seed will grow in that region of interest until it meets the condition whereby it can no longer grow out of the region of interest. So the original concept is quite easy. But what we do is that the condition itself, we try to make it adaptive. And this is where that we have proposed two techniques called seeded region growing with sliding window and seeded region growing with local averaging. This is the manual one, segmented by the radiologist. And as you can see that this is quite well segmented. If we want to compare with the typical technique that we currently have and using, compare that with our proposed technique here, we can see that actually our technique is better than this one. Visually, yeah. However, our local averaging technique somehow it does improve in terms of the time consumption, but in terms of under segmentation ratio, it got a little bit of problem. Yeah. But we are using this in our research to detect cancer, bone cancer, as well as extrapulmonary tuberculosis. Tuberculosis happen out of the pulmonary, the lung. So I also did some research with psychologists, and one of the I think this is very important research and very interesting as well. That as we know that each of us, we have unique facial points. So we have points, specific points. Distance from the edge of the eyes, distance for the edge of the mouth. Yeah. So the numbers here represents the distance, and the numbers here represents the angle, the opening of the eye. Some people maybe have big eyes, therefore the angle of the opening will be bigger as compared to those having smaller eyes, as well as the size of the eyes. So based on this information that we have, we work with psychologists to detect multiple facial points. And this is actually quite challenging because we are looking at the occluded areas sometimes, and we're looking at different angles sometimes. Yeah. Well, one thing that we cannot solve is that sometimes people can pretend. That one I cannot solve. Your face seems to look happy, but you're not happy. That one I cannot solve. Yeah. And we can also look from different angle that one people may have multiple feelings at one time. This is Rauda anyway, my youngest. This is just between of 1 or 2 seconds. Yeah. So people may have different feelings, and the changes was in a very split seconds. Yes. Therefore, there's a need of having a very quick algorithm that work in real-time mode that can immediately say that, okay, now you're happy, oh, now you're sad, oh, now you're angry. And that's very interesting. And we have done this on 7 standard emotions, as what been laid out in papers. And the 7 standard emotions are neutral, okay? So maybe, I think maybe most of us now look neutral, or maybe bored. I do not know which one. Angry, I hope nobody angry. Disgust, fear, happy, I hope all of you happy. Okay, if you are not, after this we have kambing bakar outside. Please don't be sad, and there will be a surprise after this. Yeah? So there are 7. Well, not me singing, not that kind of surprise. So there are 7 emotions that we have detected, and we have compiled that based on our database that we have collected, as well as from another database, open source database, and based on that, our proposed method, as you can see, that consistently are much better than the ones reported in the literature, for us to detect humans' emotions based on facial expression. So if you cannot express your emotions through your face, and then that one I cannot help. Yeah, maybe counselor can help. Yeah. So the overall conclusions. Yeah. So I think you're all waiting for this part. The overall conclusion is that, number 1, imaging has evolved rapidly since the beginning until now. And now each of us are no longer stranger to digital images. I think we are now can talk about megapixel camera, backlight, because last time when we have analog camera, we'll just snap picture, but then we, after the picture been printed out, then only we know, oh, we have backlight. So my face will look darker. So that's one. Number 2, we need to understand the characteristics of the images, the advantages as well as the advantages. One big challenges that we face in medical imaging is that we will not know, or we do not know, whether the information that been recorded in our images are those real or artifacts. Because see, we do not know what's inside human being. It may be look like a tumor, a cancer. It may, maybe look like that, but we never know unless we cut it out, right? So those are some challenges, and that's why when we do image processing, sometimes we get very good results. It's also quite questionable because we will never be able to validate that. And number 3, I did mention this: garbage in, garbage out. If the original images been recorded are already very noisy, and we get that very noisy image, we will never know whether the brighter spots are those noise or those cancers. And finally, the ability to imagine is as a result of being able to do the imaging, the appropriate imaging. And hence, the title of my talk, Imaging and Imagining You. Well, I hope that I have met your expectation about this title, Imaging and Imagining You. Before I finish, hold on. I think you're very happy to hear about kambing bakar just now. But I just would like to share with you one top secret research that I have done. This one I have never shared with any of my friends, any of my collaborators. Never shared that. And this one was not even meant to be, Q1, Q2, or to be written in Q1, Q2. No. And not meant to be patented as well. This is just my side research, but it's a top secret research, yeah? Which I'm going to unveil that to all of you today. So, what is this research is all about? Coming back to the facial points just now. We know that each of us, we have unique facial points. Each of us will have different, well, maybe if some of us have different distance, length, width of eyes, but maybe the angle of the eye opening will be different. Yeah? So similarly goes to nose, mouth, and etc. And just to share with you as well, my research was actually on 3D, so we are having a capturing of actually 180 degrees. Of course, it's very difficult to detect emotions from behind, right? So this top secret research is all about utilizing this data to find who is the most beautiful person in the world. Well, you might think that my answer would be Datin Aini, because Datin Aini is my boss, but no. This is research, we have to be professional, right? Yeah? They are data-driven, Datin. So, well, can you guess who is the most beautiful person in the world based on my, my lots of iterations? Okay. I know Fakrul will always, Dr. Fakrul will always say Dr. Samsuzana, because, yeah. So, as I said, these are data-driven. So, my result says, Nilofa. Unfortunately, no. I hope Nilofa is not watching the FB Live. And my result is, this is my mother. Well, very unfortunate that she's not be able to be with us today. And the lesson learned is that, number one, this is just a gimmick. There's no top secret research. And I dedicate my inaugural lecture as well as my professorship to Hajah Hasna Hassan, my mother. Run the video. Dalam diamku, kau memahamiku. Dalam peningku, kau di sisiku. Dalam sedihku, kau tangisiku. Dalam jayaku, kau raikanku. Ibu, kalau inilah yang dinamakan kejayaan, kejayaan ini adalah kejayaanmu. Kalau inilah yang dinamakan kebahagiaan, kebahagiaan ini adalah kebahagiaanmu. Dan bahagialah engkau di sana, Ibu. Ibu, aku hilang doamu, tapi aku tak hilang rasa genggamanmu. Aku hilang ciumanmu, tapi aku tak hilang senyuman terakhirmu. Aku hilang pelukanmu, tapi aku tak hilang kehangatan semangatmu. Ibu, tiada malam berlalu tanpa doa untukmu. Tiada hari berlalu tanpa ingatan kepadamu. Semoga Allah satukan kita sekeluarga semula di syurga nanti. Terima kasih, Ibu. I would like to use this opportunity to thank few people. Slides, please. I would like to use this opportunity to thank few people who are very significant to me. First of all, to my father, this is him. Tingkatan 6 ya, Ya? Tingkatan 6 So form 6, this is him, form 6, and this is him now. Ya, boleh diri ya? Thank you, Ayah. And family members, wife, Laili Hayati, Muiz, Fahim, and Rauda. Well, Muiz, I know I got lots of meetings, but Professor is not all about meetings, okay? And then, great appreciation to my mentors. First, I think it is my honor as well to be presenting my inaugural in Auditorium Radin Umar, because he was a strict person, but whenever I came and meet him in his office, I will go out from his office full of motivation. So that's him. And I still remember when I was doing my PhD, actually my first year PhD, my supervisor was on sabbatical. So we've had some problems, so Arwah Radin was trying to, he really helped me as well during that time. And then Prof. Kamaria was former head of department, now Dean of Faculty of Engineering. Thank you very much, Prof. She always been supportive in whatever that I'm doing, and I think I'm speaking on behalf of all young lecturers here in UPM. I think in UPM we've got very good mentors, and I always put this as plural, because I think we should have more than one mentor. And then Professor Burhanuddin, well, he's not here, I think, today. Oh, Prof. Burhan, okay, thank you for coming. I think maybe he make a gimmick as well, because he sent me text that he had a meeting this morning. Thank you, Prof, for coming. He cut short his holiday in Cyprus, Prof. Coming to this inaugural. Thank you very much. And then Associate Professor Dr. Rahman Ramli. Dr. Rahman, thank you, Dr. Rahman. In my department, we have two big groups, communication and computer. Actually, Prof. Kamara and Prof. Burhanuddin both are in communication, but there seems to be no boundary. We work together as a family, and that's what I really like. And in our family of computer engineering, Associate Prof. Dr. Rahman Ramli has really used, I mean, when I started joining UPM after coming back from PhD, he used his network and bring me to meet all of his friends. And because of him, then we got our first consultancy project with one of the MTDC's company. And I really value all the advices that all of you have given me. Thank you. And of course, Datin Aini, thank you, Datin Aini. She might not remember, but actually, in 2007, she came to engineering as the Dean of School of Graduate Studies. And she, well, at that time, we were having new rules about who can supervise and who cannot. Me being very young lecturer, still not knowing about the rules and regulations and how to fit myself in the academia world, I sent a long email to Datin Aini, but I was nobody that time. But she replied. And I think from there, afterward, we worked together in OBE and etc. And I learned a lot from her. Thank you very much, Datin Aini. And Datuk Saleh, just a very nice timing. Thank you very much, Datuk Saleh. I think, well, we are in different departments, but I knew him. I came back from PhD. He was the Deputy Dean of Academics, yeah, Deputy Dean of Academics. And he wrote me in the Quality Assurance Unit. And we worked together since then. And I learned a lot. from him about putting up the right priorities, what to do, and how to handle things. So those things those things can be learned even though from people not within your area of research. Because mentoring is all about holding hands and giving advices, and at some point, if you think the person can now go and fly by themselves, they should be encouraged to do so. And I think those are what mentoring is all about. Thank you very much to all my mentors, and I cannot do this without my students. Thank you very much, all my students. These are just some of the students who gave me the pictures. So who have not given me the pictures, then your pictures will not be here. But I have this clause to all my bachelor students that have done final project with me, all master students and all PhD students. Thank you very much. This work is our work. And I hope that you will learn one or two things while you are here in UPM. And I hope that you'll be very successful in your career. Well, I don't have in this picture, but actually my first PhD student, I was 26 years old that time. I finished my PhD in 2006, I was 26. My first PhD student in 2007, he was 57 years old. So 30 years older than me. But when he came to me the first time, I said that there's only one rule. I'm your supervisor, you are my student. And Alhamdulillah, he finished his PhD. And now pretty much I'm 39, so he should be 60, 70 something, yeah. And he did not reply my email, so. Right. I think another student here, Hessam. Where's Hessam? I think Hessam come all the way from Sydney. Thank you very much, Hessam. Actually, he did his master's under supervision of Dr. Shamsia as the main supervisor. I'm the co-supervisor, but we work very closely. I appointed him as the RA last time, SGRA last time. And now he's pursuing his PhD at University Technology Sydney, UTS. Thank you very much, Hessam, for coming. And I also cannot do this with my big family, Computer and Communication System Engineering. Thank you very much all for the support, for the argument, for the love. And I think this, well, if you give me options to go to other departments, I would rather stay in this department, because I think this department, they really, or we, really act as a family rather than as colleagues. So we help each other. And you see, Prof Bohan now, maybe he got a lot of ample times now. He have lots of pokok herba, all the herbs, and he keep bringing the product from his home, small plot, Prof, to the department. So we are actually, I think we are more of a family rather than of a colleague. So thank you very much, all members of Department of Computer and Communication System Engineering. And we have a number of young professors in the department. And I think that is as a result of having good mentors. We have Prof Aliani, Prof Aduwati, Prof Raja, the head of department. Yeah? All young professors. And I think we owe this to our mentor. And hopefully when times come for us to mentoring others, let's do the best. I think also collaboration is the key. We cannot work in silo, or no longer can work in silo. And I have people from medical faculty, Prof Datin Rosie, thank you for coming and your support. And Prof Ramita, yeah, we even have students together. And Datuk Jalil, he resigned from, retired from UPM, take an option, and then he's now with KPJ. So we work together. Prof Hamiros, I think here, right? Thank you, Prof Hamiros. We were together in Sare. He was my senior. I came to Sare in 2006. He was final year already, right? Submitted already thesis that time, I think. So he was very nice because I was all alone, and I do not know how to cook. And he brought me to his house, and I managed to get decent dish. There was a story behind that. So one day I cooked fried chicken. And then after cooking the fried chicken, then it doesn't taste like what my mom cooked in Muar at our house. So I called my mom, Ibu, kenapa ayam ni tak sedap? Why this chicken doesn't taste so good? And then my mom replied, what did you put? I said, well, I've got the chicken. I cut it into a few pieces. I put it in hot oil, boiled oil. And that's it. So no salt, nothing. And hence the reason why I know now why my chicken doesn't taste so good. So thank you very much, Prof. Hamiros. He brought me, at least I got decent dish lah. And we also actually in the same research group, Center for CVSSP, Center for Signal and Speech Processing. But we had different supervisors. And then Prof. David Bradley, we have been working together since 2010 or 2011. He was a former professor at Surrey University, but when I was at Surrey University, he was not there. He was in another university. But because I still got a few projects running with Surrey University, then we got some areas that we can work together, and eventually we have published quite a number of outputs together. Dr. Helmi worked with me in the satellite and aerial images. Dr. Suhairul from UTM, he's the one who gave me advice on the physics side of it, because I'm not a trained physicist. I learn only from the books, whatever required for my research. And he'll be the one who will be checking the physics part of it. So thank you, Dr. Suhairul. And then Dr. Fikri from PPDN. Again, some of those graduates actually helped me with the segmentation, advice on the medical procedures, and etc. Dato' Anafia now working with me in one of our endovascular project. Associate Professor Dr. Nomala from Fakulti of Medicine and Health Sciences. She's the secretaries. So we work on project on Alzheimer. Dr. Lenny here, surgeon, vascular surgeon, and we work in the same team as Datuk Hanafia. Dr. Hanafia is the director of HUKM. Dr. Chong, he's a senior research scientist at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, my point of contact at National LBNL, Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. And I've got an opportunity to be visiting over there, or to visit there and be visiting researcher over there. And it was a very memorable experience because I got to see the electronics part of components that are not yet in market by Philips and Siemens. So it was a very memorable. Dr. Shamila, she was working with me in engineering education, ethics, and we had few copyrights and IPs, and hopefully there will be some journal papers also coming out after this. And Dr. Subapriya from Fakulti Medicine. So thank you for coming. And we are working on Alzheimer. She with PPDN, UPM. And to the organizing committee, thank you very much for organizing this. This was yesterday during the rehearsal. Thank you very much all. Really appreciate all your time, efforts and ideas. And thank you all to the management, office of DVCI, Rizwan, Kak Mas, past and present faculty management, especially former deans, Prof. Fakrul, Prof Azmi, I think I saw Prof Azmi earlier. Okay. All right. Thank you, Prof. And Prof Datuk Saleh also was a former Dean of Engineering. I think the management of the faculty, they really give chance to the young ones to be champions in our own areas. And this is actually very important for us to groom the next level of the next leaders for the universities. And Prof Jinab, as I said, that she was the one who actually brought me to meet Arwah Datuk Radin. Thank you. I would like to have this special mention to you, Prof Jinab, Prof Anti Jinab. Thank you. Friends from all the institutions coming here, friends from Marismat, Maktab Rendah Sains Mara Taiping, and thank you everybody. And let's go to the next video. 3 minutes and that's it.
Senyum, senyum selalu senyum, senyum denganku tiada seindah senyuman. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pagiku mula dengan cinta, cintaku dengan gitar lama. Hari-hariku hanya denganmu, nyanyi sama oh 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 oh. Terus bergerak jumpa teman, singgah sebentar supermarket, terlihat gadis mukanya manis, nyanyi sama oh 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 oh. Denganku, denganmu, yeah. Ku berdiri di sini dan kau berdiri di sana. Tak perlu kau katakan apa lagi jika kau terus senyum selalu senyum denganku. Tiada seindah senyuman. Oh, oh, oh. Tak perlu ragu, usah dibimbang. Tiada seindah senyumanmu. Bukan maksud untuk memikat, tapi kalau kau terpikat, ku tak kisah apa salahnya. Kalau dapat menjangan malu, tidak salah untuk mengenali. Siapa kata kamu tak cantik kalau senyum? Ada masalah. Siapa kata aku mengata kalau senyum? Ada masalah. Oke, tiada masalah. Tiada masalah. Ku berdiri di sini dan kau berdiri di sana. Tak perlu kau katakan apa lagi jika kau terlupus. Senyum selalu, senyum denganku. Tiada seindah senyuman. Oh, oh, oh. Tak perlu ragu, usah dibimbang. Tiada seindah senyumanmu. Bukan maksud untuk memikat, tapi kalau kau terpikat, ku tak kisah apa salahnya. Bukan maksud untuk memikat, tapi kalau kau terpikat, ku tak kisah apa salahnya. Aku senyum, kau senyum, dunia turut senyum. Senyumlah bersama, senyumlah semua. Aku senyum, kau senyum, dunia turut senyum. Senyum bersama semua. Senyum, senyum. Tiada seindah senyumanmu. Senyum selalu denganku, senyum denganku.
So with that marked the end of my inaugural lecture. Thank you very much all of you for coming here. I really appreciate that and I love all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Iqbal. I think it was a very, very interesting talk. Don't you agree with me? Yes, please give him a big round of applause. Prof. Iqbal has brought us through a journey from Kodak to where we are today, and a very interesting part, I think the application of all these imaging and images that we have would be the application towards helping and diagnosing medical problems and medical issues. And Prof. Iqbal and the team has come up a very good research on that in these areas. I think it is really very interesting. Fahim and Muiz, you know what your dad is doing now, his job. So I'm sure Fahim and Muiz understood what's going on and why the father, Papa, is so busy, not just for meetings, but also doing very useful and interesting job. I think this is a very good example of doing multidisciplinary research and working together, collaborating with each other. It does not matter in which faculty you are, but get together and work together and give a very good impact, a very big impact on that. I think that's very important. Prof. Iqbal has mentioned about all the images and imaging. So I hope by now you understand what does imagining and imaging means. Because we heard from the WhatsApp group when Prof. Iqbal posted his talk today, there were a lot of questions, what is this and what is that? So Prof. Iqbal said, if you want to know, come to my inaugural lecture today. So I hope those who post a lot of questions are here today and understand what he means. The ability to imagine the results is very important. The images and all that, those are very important aspects. And I think we imagine a lot. And with those imaging, and I'm sure we get good impact out of all those imaginations. And Prof. Iqbal concluded his journey, of course, with a very touching ending. I saw red eyes beside me, especially. Prof. No. I think that's very touching for everyone. Prof. Iqbal asked about who is the most beautiful person in the world. Of course, the first person he said, not me. However, my eldest son is as old as Prof. Iqbal, same age, so I think I still fit to be the ibu for Prof. Iqbal. So thank you again, Prof. Iqbal. Enjoy. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed the talk today, and if you want to know more, please go to Prof. Iqbal. I think he's the best example of our staff, the champion that UPM has created, and a good mentor for everybody. So thank you very much, and congratulations to Prof. Iqbal once again.
Thank you to Yang Berbahagia Profesor Datin Paduka Datuk Dr. Ani Idris for chairing the event, and thank you to Yang Berbahagia Profesor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Saripan for delivering his lecture. Another round of applause to them. Ladies and gentlemen, with that is marked the end of our session today. We would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to everyone with us today for the support and contribution in making this event a great success. Now, I would like to invite all of us to have a photography session with our guests. Now, please rise and please move to the center of the hall. And the photographer will be on the stage.